Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Wish and Well. I'm Wish. I'm going to be your host for the next 9 minutes or so. So, welcome everybody. I want you guys feel comfortable. Grab a chair. Nice cold or hot beverage, depending on your taste, and enjoy. So, without further ado, the topic of today's show is interaction, and I kind of wanted it to be a vague topic today. I didn't really want to go out on the limb and try to overly define something or outline it abruptly. I wanted interaction to be the topic of the show only because I feel that, being kind of vague really has its hands in a lot of different aspects of concept. Excuse me. I think that being vague, you tend to generalize, certain topics, and it kind of spills over into other topics. So interaction, I think I chose that one only because I think that a lot of people take for granted the power of interaction. I think take for granted the power of cooperation and communication. You have something that works essentially every single time, all the time. I mean, you don't even really have to think about using it, really. You could just open up your mouth and sing, and you could get attention at the very least. I mean, talking about things, expressing yourself, who cares if it's clear that you're trying your best anyway, right? I mean, at least you're being cooperative. It works every single time, and I think that for that reason it's taken for granted. I think that over time what ends up happening is we don't become attuned to it anymore. We attune to other things that are bigger and grander. But the fact of the matter is that we're always gonna use communication. It's always gonna be here for. It's like energy. It's like an energy. In fact, it's a resource, really. When you interact with somebody, you present to yourself a chaotic situation to where you're on your toes all of a sudden. You're attuned to all kinds of potential possibility, and well, what avenue do I take now, and what about my choices later, and how is this going to impact my entire life, and am I playing a big enough role in society? And all these questions pop up into existence. Do they even enter your mind, though? I mean, think about it. What's going on when you interact, right, with somebody, and or society? What if you're just driving in the city and you're going from A to B, and you're making these decisions, all along the way, and you don't really see the tail end of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why the world is such a big place overall. See, it is getting smaller, but it is actually, in a sense, still a very big place. In retrospect, if you leave out the circumstance of shoulder to shoulder interaction, you're talking about action at a distance. I mean, Einstein didn't like that idea, but in the same regard, it's only because it would be a trivial pursuit. But to acknowledge it would be the other side of the coin. I think on the other hand, you would come to accept it at that rate and say to yourself, well, I do make decisions in life. I do interact on a general basis, and I don't really pursue all the tail ends of every aspect that I talk about, or everything that I'm saying, or everything that I do. This is up to the environment, right? I think that would be the greatest honor we could bestow upon the environment, is to accept the fact that the interaction with it would be a trivial pursuit. I mean, in that regard, I think that to keep going and to keep interacting and switching it up and changing new things and trying things. I mean, one day you're gonna turn around as an individual and you're gonna say to yourself, this is it. This is how I am. This is what I do. This is how I'm gonna be for a long time, and I'm happy with that. And what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna be challenged along the way, as a consequence, because of the solidification. It's a back and forth motion. It's a paradigm of principle, really. If you think about it, interaction becomes something that, you do because you become better and better at it, and there's really, the only fault there is that there's really no money in it, you know what I'm saying? If you think about it, it's not even really a philanthropy, because stars, I mean, they go on these talk shows and stuff. You think they get paid for that? They might get a little bit, but they don't get paid, for being on talk shows. Nah, they don't get paid for any of that stuff. These guys, they sign autographs and they talk to people and stuff because they still want to be a person. It's not because they want to be a star, and they might be greedy in that regard, but it depends on the star. You know what I'm saying? When you interact, you basically challenge the very aspect of the fact that you yourself are, not playing a big enough role in society. I mean, you challenge that. You say to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm going to bring to the table, what needs to be brought to the table from my end, and is anybody, is anybody ready for that? Are you ready for that? If you think about it, it's a challenge every single day when you get up to yourself and you say, to yourself, well, I'm going to do more than what it takes today. I'm going to go above and beyond, and can you do that every day? Is this even some kind of practice? Maybe it was a paradigm at some point. I don't really know. A lot of things linger and history echoes, but if you say interaction is here to stay, I think you'd be kidding yourself to some extent, because what happens is, it's like a touch and go thing. It's you touch base with people and then you go. It's not really something that is immovable as an object. It's not materialism. It's not even existentialism, really. It's more of a property value, but it's not an intellectual property. Interaction. You have things that can't be, concrete, but they're still not intellectual property, which is probably why the intellectual property paradigm is taking so long to be, implemented. But interaction, when you take interaction and you say to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to set forth my best effort every single day for a very long time now, and you make goals that are long term. Are you following through with these goals, or are they things that just had to be done along the way, and you may, out of correspondence and synchronicity, you've fallen upon the event that you're at one with yourself. I mean, these are examples of enlightenment, but are they any indication of an individual? I mean, is interaction an indication of an individual? I wouldn't go so far as to say yes, only because when someone interacts with somebody, they do not become interaction. They still are themselves. They put on the glove that is interaction, don't they? And they kind of manipulate the environment and conversation and bend things to their will, so they can put forth their willingness to educate and to enlighten. When you and I'm gonna leave you with this here in a second. When you say to yourself, I'm going to interact, I'm going to be a better person for interaction, you say to yourself, goals are a priority, and because of that, you become a more responsible individual. Okay, well, thank you very much for your attention, guys. That has been the fourth episode of Wishing Well. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, taking breaks. I hope you're not listening to the show straight. You'd be waiting a long time in between shows. I don't mean to kid. I really hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Don't as always, feel free to comment. I love when people comment. Because it shows that they care just enough. Left just enough courtesy in there, and it actually it's very it's very enlightening for me, because even if it was a careless comment, it would still be words and feelings and emotions still mean a lot to me, and careless it takes a lot to go out on the limb and say something that is almost hurtful or something, because it shows character either way is what I'm saying. So click that like button, hit subscribe, if you want to stay tuned for the all the latest videos, and as always, this has been Bruce Choicey, and I'm saying peace.